Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Look Around the Confederation. I'm your host this evening, Jason Boshears. I just want to say I apologize. First of all, the I'm the last choice, as we all know. Harrison could not be here as he already had a commitment. Connor couldn't be here. And as you know, in the past, John Blankenship has taken over and has done a fantastic job with it. They couldn't be here. So unfortunately, y'all have me. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. First thing we're going to do is we are going to play our disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not those of the SCV, its General Executive Council, nor any divisions, brigades, camps, or any subsidiaries. It is strictly the opinion of the person that is voicing their opinion. Again, views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not those of the SCV, its General Executive Council, any Army, Division, Brigade, camps, or any subsidiaries. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We're already starting to get some people on board here. I want to go ahead and I see Floyd Harvey on here. Mr. Harvey, I look forward. I really hope you're going to be at National Reunion. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again. I miss seeing you and talking to you. I've seen you last few reunions when we were there in Arkansas, there at Hot Springs. I had a fantastic time, and I want to thank your hospitality, and I want to thank the Keller Camp for the work that they did putting on such a great reunion. And Mr. Floyd Harvey, thank you for joining us. And then we have our illustrious and esteemed Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, giving us greetings from Louisiana. Thank you, Commander, for coming on. And I'm also with you when we're looking forward to seeing you at the Forest Boyhood Home. We've got you a tent set aside, your twin brother. Now, I'll let you and your twin brother argue who's the good-looking one, who's the smart one. I'll let y'all argue that out. But we'll be giving the mic to y'all and letting y'all say a few words. And as y'all know, the Kennedy twins are a few words. They're not like a blabbermouth like me that just seems to talk for forever. But I'm looking forward to seeing you there at the Forest Boyhood Home, sir. And then we have joining us Mr. Jason Lloyd. Good evening, everyone, from the Turner Ashby Camp, Winchester, Virginia, checking in. Thank you, Jason Lloyd. I see him a lot on some of these other shows. Both of us watch Michael C. Hardy and his Sunday night show, and that is a fantastic show. Thank you for joining us here, Jason. And David Pope. David says it's a beautiful evening here in the Valley of East Tennessee, and good evening from Knoxville and Longstreet Zollicoffer Camp 87. And then we have Al that has joined us. Good evening from the Dr. J.B. Cowan Camp 155, Tullahoma, Tennessee. Thank you for joining us, Al. It was great you coming on Tennessee Tuesday and joining us there. And wow, this is awesome. Kentucky is here. Kentucky is here early. This is awesome. Thank you, Kyle. And hey, Commander, appreciate Kentucky being here. Now, we're only about 5 weeks away from the 131st SCV National Reunion that is going to be held in Lexington, Kentucky. And I won't, June 1st was the deadline for any kind of food. So if you were wanting food, if you haven't registered, you still can register, but you're not going to be able to purchase any food. The cutoff date for that was June the 1st. And looking forward to seeing you in Kentucky and looking forward to seeing everybody at the 131st SCV National Reunion, Lexington, Kentucky. And it'd be nice if you could be there at the Forest Boyhood Home as well. It'd be great to see you. If you can be there, Kyle, be great having you. And I can see that he's popped on here. Yes. I don't really, you're just now finding out there's going to be a reunion in Kentucky. No, I know he knows better than that. Just messing around, having a good time. Yes. And I want to thank Chris Hawkins, since you mentioned him. Chris Hawkins, them and the Bluegrass Brigade, those boys have done a fantastic job of getting prepared for a excellent national reunion. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. Daniel Santiago, thank you for joining us, Daniel. Good evening to you as well. And here is a man that has become a hero of mine, Mr. Bob Highball from down in Florida. This gentleman heard me speak at a Lee Jackson and asked me to be the keynote speaker because his camp, 1865, hosted the Florida Division reunion. And I tell you, they did a fantastic job in Ocala, Florida. It really was a very good reunion. And I was happy to be there. I was happy to be the keynote speaker on that Saturday night. I hope I did y'all an honest job. I was truly honored to be there. And thank you for allowing me to be there and say a few words. And Mr. Bill Elliott, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I know you're going to be at National Reunion. Great to see you there, Mr. Elliott. And Delvin DC to you as well. Don't know your name, and I'm sorry, I can't figure it out. But I see the name on there. And then we have Richard Garcia. He's our lieutenant commander of the Tennessee Division. He's Camp 1685, Gainesboro, Tennessee, has joined us. Okay, now Kyle has already chimed in again. Luckily, the Forest Boyhood Home is on the way to Gatlinburg. I guess you're headed to Gatlinburg after this. And you are correct. Chris Hawkins is the man. Unbelievable what he's been through to put this on, and all those guys that he works with. I want to appreciate them. Thank them for everything that you are doing. And we have joining us from the Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp, 1308 Shreveport, Louisiana, Mr. Alan Lawrence. And we have some news from the Richard Taylor Camp that we'll be sharing tonight. Thank you for joining in with us, Mr. Alan Lawrence. And Bob Highball, the honor was mine. Thank you for that. While we're talking about everything coming up from the National Reunion, now I'm doing this by myself, so you're going to see me looking over here. In case you don't know, we have these tabs, and those are the banners like you see that's scrolling across there. And then we have the comments that are coming in as well. Let's see. Okay. We already have another comment that has come in, and let's get it. Mr. Randy Crook, it's great to hear from you again, young man. I've seen you pop on here a time or two. Thank you for joining us again, Camp 1315 from Pensacola, Florida. So I'm going to be running through all of this myself, so you're going to see me looking away and looking over here to the tabs and doing all of this, because right now I want to look for, and here it is. This is the 2026 SCV National Reunion, and you can go to 131scv.org, and you can find everything that is going on with the reunion, what you can still register for. I know some things have already been sold out, like the distillery tour, things like that. But if you go to that website, you can also see where they have merchandise. And this is the challenge coin that they have. And I'll tell you, it's a good looking challenge coin. You can see the different, it's a good looking coin. So you can go on there and you can purchase your merchandise, and you can show up at the National Reunion already in attire with the merchandise around you, and you can go ahead and you can be prepared. Want to take a moment, thank everybody for coming on. Want to go ahead and we'll start thinking about and talking about our sponsors. And we want to thank our Patreon sponsors, because without our Patreon sponsors, you see them scrolling along the bottom. Shows like this, they would be more difficult to put on. The sponsors make it possible for us to be able to use StreamYard, because it costs $1,000 a year just to be able to have this subscription to StreamYard. And it helps putting on these kind of shows and getting all the information out there to everybody. Now, you can join through Patreon to become a member, and you've got a couple of ways to do it. First, you can go to patreon.com/SCVchat, and you can join that way. Or you can go to scvchat.com and look for Patreon and sponsor that way as well. There's different levels. The first level, they nickname Feed the Moose level. And I know many of you turned on hoping to see Harrison. He couldn't make it tonight. Like I said, you've got me. Harrison has talked for years, the whole time we've been putting these shows on, that he is a broke college student. Well, he has graduated from college, so now he is like the rest of us, and he gets to be a broke adult. So you can join at the Feed the Moose level, and that's $2.50 a month, and that just gets you started. Then you can join at the $10 level, and that's called the Real Chathead level. That $10 a month gets you some behind the scenes information, some of the upcoming programs, things like that. You start hearing about things and upcoming programs, and you see the guys starting to work through all of them because they do work hard in planning out these shows. And then they have the $30 a month level, and that's the merchandise level. And at that $30 a month level, you received, of course, you get the Real Chat Head and you get the behind the scenes stuff, but you get every so often a little something in the mail. And Harrison and Connor both say that they do not get this merchandise, and I believe them. But things you get are actually pretty cool, little stickers if you're into that kind of stuff. And it's actually pretty cool that you get to receive those. And then there is the show sponsor level. And the show sponsor level, I'm going to see if I can find some of them on here. No, they don't have any of them popped up here, so I'm going to have to read them to you. And I tell you what I'm going to do, because we have different screens for Look Around the Confederation, Tennessee Tuesday, SCV Chat, Commander's Comments. And while I will do that, I'll go ahead and I'll pop the Patreon back up. We have several of the show sponsors. One of them is Chris Cummins. Oh, wait a minute. I did see a media deal on Chris Cummins. In fact, there he is. It is Modern Medicine with Southern Hospitality. And this gentleman is located in Oxford, Mississippi. And I'll go ahead and tell you, from what I'm understanding, in 2028, Mississippi Division is looking at hosting a national reunion. And I think they're looking at Oxford, Mississippi. Now, don't hold me to that. We should find out more about that coming at the upcoming SCV reunion in Lexington. But Chris Cummins, he's been around a long time. He's was my Surgeon General when I was in the chair. And if you have any, they tell me he specializes in knee pain, joint pain, that kind of stuff. But he can help you with anything, and that's Modern Medicine with Southern Hospitality. And then we have, let's see, I don't see the Larry McClooney one up here. So I will go ahead and we will talk about the 31st Regiment engraving. You can go to www.31streengraving.com. And that's our good friend Todd out of California. And you watch this show often. You've heard Harrison talk about the bracelet that he wears with the special engraving. And it is Southern themed items and custom laser engraving. And you can see the bottle openers, the wrist, bracelet, earrings, challenge coins. Contact our friend Todd and go to the website and pay and support him. Appreciate everything he's doing. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead because I do see this one on here, and this is the Museum at Market Hall. Now, the Museum at Market Hall is in Charleston, South Carolina, where we hosted the reunion a number of years ago, and it's a great place to go. I visited then. I haven't been back. I'm understanding that they have done some great things there, and if the flag is out, they are open. And I do see that one. So here you go. The Museum at Market Hall. You can see the hours there, Thursday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. They have been on SCV Chat. If you're ever in Charleston, please go pay them a visit. They're a great place to go see. They have been around since 1899, and that's wonderful. Then we have Beauregards Taylor. It's a family business driven proudly, offering authentic War Between the States reproductions. T-shirts, reproduction flags, lapel pins, and more. I heard that they have some very good stickers and things like that. So I know some people that bought from them back in the day when they were doing uniforms. I don't know if they're still doing uniforms or not. I was told they're easing out of that, but they might still have some items, so contact them. I do know some people that have purchased the lapel pins and the reproduction flags from them. First quality merchandise. And you can go to BeauregardsTaylor.shop and support them as well. And then we have the Sam Davis home. Now, the Sam Davis home is very special to me with the story of Sam Davis. You can go in the home, you can tour the home. When you go in the front door, the room on the right, that's the parlor where Sam laid in state. You're able to go there. Now, we've been doing, and I'm on the board there, we've been doing quite a bit of work. We've been redoing the windows. Now, we did not put modern windows in. We sent them off to get rebuilt, and they put the original glass back in the original places. Just had to rebuild the sashes and all of the wood because it's nearly a 200-year-old home. And as you know, things like that, wood just deteriorates over time. They've been doing a tremendous amount of work there. And you can go, you can see where Sam is buried. You can tour the home. You can go in the museum. You can go to the place where he tied his horse the last night that he was there alive, and go and visit the Sam Davis home if you get an opportunity. And I was looking to see if I saw Larry's ad in here. Somehow it must have gotten deleted. So I'll talk to you about past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney's new book, Paradox of Freedom. And you can go to booksbylarry.com and you can get all of his books. You can get them signed from him. His book, Paradox of Freedom, won the Douglas Southall Freeman Award that was given by the Military Order of Stars and Bars. It is a very good book. And you can go to Books by Larry and talk to him. Get you some books by him. Let's get back and let's see if we've got any more comments that have come in. We have Michael Adams that has joined us. Okay. And then, Michael, if you don't mind telling us where you're a member, that way we can give a shout out to where you're from. Jeff Plummer, Delaware Grace Camp 2068. Appreciate you joining us. And Donnie Kennedy has asked me if I give an update on the Davis Monument. As you know, when the Davis, and we're talking about the Jefferson Davis Monument that come out of Confederate Park in Memphis. When it was erected and dedicated, Larry McClooney, it was Commander-in-Chief at that time. It was October the 3rd of 2020. He had just gone into office in July, and it had been erected there in what we call the Jeff Davis Garden, which is right behind the National Confederate Museum. If you haven't been there, I'm going to encourage you to come. It was where it was done, there was just, and it was basically put on sidewalk. Now, there was a center that was poured, that was steeped up where you see the steps that were leading up to it. Then you had the obelisk, which is 14,000 pounds. And then you had Jefferson Davis on top of it, a little over 500 pounds. But what had happened with the way that it settled, because the steps were put on regular sidewalk, which was only 4 inches. In time, it has started to sink and separate. We noticed it back in the fall of last year when, if you were standing and you were facing President Davis, you could see it listing to the left, or it would have been his right. And it's kind of settled down, but there was a gap that had opened on the opposite side, and you could stick your finger all the way in. And so we had to take the Jeff Davis statue down to put it back up, because we're going to have to jackhammer out every bit of that concrete, take out everything having to do with the sidewalk, because we're going to take it all the way out. And we're actually going to, one of the gentlemen that's given us a bid, and I talked with him Monday, I believe it was, and his bid is for it to go 12 inches on the outside of it. So it's going to have to, where the monument would sit, all of that tore out, and pour a pad that's going to be 12 inches wider than all of that all the way around. Right now, we sent bid packets to 7 people. We've had 3 of them that have replied that it is beyond their scope of work. So it left us with 4. All 4 have asked for more information and have come on site. Well, we've had one of them that hasn't. Haven't heard back from him, and I've emailed him again. I probably won't, because that's my 3rd email to him, so I won't email him anymore. I'm going to assume that he's out, so that's going to put us down to the 3 bids. Hoping everybody I've talked to have told me that they would have a bid within a week or 2. And since I've come back from Florida, I've talked to 2 of them, and both of them have said that they'll have me a bid either this week, which I hadn't seen yet, or the beginning part of next week. So I'm hoping to get at least those 2 bids next week. And I've got one more that has showed some interest in it. Getting them on site and getting on their schedule has been the difficult part. One of them that of the 3 had showed some interest, of the 3 that said that was beyond their scope of work. That was because he has kind of a smaller crew, and he's busy because there's been a lot of building going on in Murray County. And he said it would be sometime next year before he could get it on the schedule. Okay. So that's the time frame that he gave. And, I kind of steered away from that because I would love to have it back up by the time we get to National Reunion, but that's only 5 weeks away. So it's going to really have to get moving. But I'd like to see us have something going on by then. That's just the best that I can tell you. We have sent out the bid packets. We have heard back from some that are not interested. They can't get to it. It's beyond their scope. Jackhammering out that full piece has run, I know at least one off. When he saw what we were doing, he almost immediately was, no, that's more than we do. More than my crew does. They're good at pouring concrete, and if it's a little bit, they'll bust it up. But they're going to have to, where it's sitting now, where the steps go up, and I put pictures out there on Facebook of it, and it goes down another 5 feet below ground level. So you're looking at 8 feet of concrete that they're going to have to jackhammer out and get out. And for some, that's just beyond their scope of work. But we're trying. And I want to thank people of the Forest Last Ride Committee. They've been very good about going back and forth on this. And I want to thank Lee Miller. Lee Miller has done a tremendous job helping to meet people on site and help getting the bids. And I wish I could go ahead and tell you that it was done or that we had it in place. because it's something that I would love to go ahead and get done. Like the Equestrian Plaza. We've sent out 5 bid packets for it. We have received 1 bid. We're hoping to hear from people because May 31st was the deadline to submit bids, and 2 of them contacted us past that requesting more information. So we hope we're going to be hearing from those. I'll be having a conversation with Lee Miller over the weekend and see where we stand with that. Commander Kennedy, I want to thank you for asking me to give an update. That's all I can tell you at this point. The monument, the Jefferson Davis Monument, did come down clean. We did not have any issues bringing any of it down. It's all set on site. We did take the Jeff Davis statue and we did put it in storage because it's 500 pounds. And we were thinking about setting it out, but it would be easy to knock over because it's on a very narrow base. So we're working on making that happen. And I'll go ahead and tell you this about the Equestrian Plaza. The work on Forest on King Philip, all of the work on Forest on King Philip has been done. All of the repair work's been done. He has been cleaned. He has been waxed. He's had 3D imaging done. He's ready to go. And while we were there, we had, as you know, we went ahead and had some work done on the Jeff Davis statue at that time as well. Not that it really needed any repair work, just a cleaning and a waxing and 3D imaging. And while it was down, we had the gentleman take a look at it, make sure everything was fine with it, and the Jeff Davis statue is good to go as well. So when all of this starts to happen, I'll be giving you updates. That's the one thing that Commander Kennedy requested that I do, was to go out and make those videos. And you can see them out there on my Facebook page, and they've been shared many times. One of them's been viewed nearly 100,000 times now. So so you can take a look at those, and that gives you an update of everything that we're working on at that time, at this time. Okay, and we'll get back to taking a look at the comments. Hopefully Tennessee Division soon. Okay, I hope to hear from you, Kevin. Okay, and then let's talk later about a good time to come down for the Sam Davis home tour. Been waiting to do it for a while now. Would like to before National Reunion if possible. Well, schedule it. If you'd like for me to be there, you're going to have to probably schedule it, because I hate to be rude, but I've had a few mornings. I've got the 6:30 call. We're coming down Springs today, and we want to talk about a job. So please be kind enough to let me know when's a good time for you, and then we'll work on everything that we're doing. And then Donnie Kennedy, thank you, Commander Kennedy. I want to thank the folks who have joined the 21st Century Confederate Heroes who are making these projects possible. We need more camps and members to join. Commander Kennedy, you're very correct. The Forest Equestrian Plaza. Now, the people that have donated, the donations that have come into it, have totaled about 180,000. Okay. And for the bids that are coming in, we'll know that it's going to be well in excess of that. Nearly 400 people have joined the 21st Century Confederate Heroes. And the original intent of the 21st Century Confederate Heroes, and this is the brainchild of Ron Kennedy, who was Chief of Heritage Operations when I was in the chair, and I'm very proud of that. And Ron's idea, and talking with his brother Donnie, and they come up with this idea. And the original philosophy behind it was to pay off the debt on the museum, the bank debt on the museum. And as you know, the Sons of Confederate Veterans really stepped up. The last year that I was in office, we knocked down $1.4 million worth of debt. That proved to our benefactors and our donors that the Sons of Confederate Veterans are willing to step up and take care of themselves. And then we had that donation to come in that eliminated the debt eliminated the banknote debt. And so they decided to take the 21st Century Confederate Heroes and put it toward the Forest Plaza, resurrecting the Forest Plaza. And that's going to be possible because of the 21st Century Confederate Heroes. Now, there's a special opportunity. Anyone that has joined the 21st Century Confederate Heroes, the original idea was to have you on the walkway because you're going to have a paver, a 12 by 12 paver. This 12 by 12 paver was going to be put on the walkway going up. Well, as we have worked with the architect and the engineers to be part of the walkways going up, they decided, and it was decided, to create a place up at the plaza that the 21st Century Confederate Heroes plaques will go. And like I said, we have nearly 400 people that have joined. The room up there at the statue is for 560 plaques of pavers, 12 by 12 pavers, 560 of them. So if you want to be up there at the plaza, you're going to be at the plaza, not on the walkway leading to the plaza. You're going to be up at the plaza. If you want to be up there, you're going to need to be one of the first 560 to do this. So 400 of them are gone. That's going to leave 160. You can go to scev.org, and before everybody starts saying anything about the hack attempt, yes, the website was attempted to be hacked. Nothing got stolen or captured or anything like that. It was caught very quickly and it was dealt with. It was when you went to the site, it was trying to do a redirect. If you were running an antivirus, it caught it. I run an antivirus, and as soon as I went to scev.org, when it tried to reroute, my antivirus caught it, flagged it. But it was long been taken care of. Nothing was hacked. Nothing was gotten into. And if you've been a member for a while, you know that this happens. And this happens quite often where they try to hack us. And that's just the way that it is. But you can go to the scv.org, and there's 21st Century Confederate Heroes. You can go into that donate, and you can click on that donate button, and you can go down to 21st Century Confederate Heroes and join there. If you want to be up at the plaza, you've got about 160 left. So make a plan to do that. And I know Kyle Thompson was talking about doing a tour at the Sam Davis home. Jason Lloyd said he took a tour back there in 2021. I'd like to know how that tour went. In fact, if you're coming to National Reunion, we'll meet and we'll talk about it, because we always try to make the tours better there. Now, Commander Kennedy camps or individuals, both. Anyone who joins the 21st Century Confederate Heroes, whether you're a brigade, whether you're a camp, whether you're an army, the Army of Northern Virginia could join, the Army of Trans-Mississippi, the Army of Tennessee, all could join, or an individual can join. Join, and all of that money is now going toward the resurrection of the Forest Equestrian Plaza. And for those who don't know, this was the site that was designed, created by Charles Henry Niehaus, the Forest Memorial Association, the United Daughters of the Confederacy, working with Nathan Bedford Forrest's son. And we're putting it back exactly like Nathan Bedford Forrest's son envisioned it. This is an opportunity for you to be part of that. So this is, and if I went on too long, my apologies, because I realize now I'm already 37 minutes into this, and I have yet to talk about any of the news. So, how about let's get into some of the news? Let me get over here and let's get to this right here. We're going to talk about the Richard Taylor camp. Mention them right off the bat. This is them, the Lieutenant Richard Taylor Camp, 1308, Shreveport, Louisiana, hosted an entry into the Poke Salad Festival Parade. Also taking part were the W.W. Hartsell Camp of Marshall, Texas, and the John H. Regan Camp of Palestine, Texas. And you can see that group of men that we have right there. Thank you for all of them. And a few of those are probably going to be very familiar to you. Okay, then we will get off of that and we will, let me get over here. I got somebody that just knocked at my front door. Have you ever had that happen where you've been having this go on? Now we're going to talk about Gary Stewart and Jason Pogue of the Major Thomas R. Livingston Camp 2327. They placed flags on the graves of the 30 known Confederate veterans in Park Cemetery in Carthage for Confederate Memorial Day. And you can hear that person knocking on my door. It's not going to interrupt anything. I'm going to continue to do business. Okay, and we will continue on with the next. Let me go over here to this and let me pull this up. Like I said, I'm doing this by myself, and that's the reason why sometimes it takes a little bit of time. The James M. Keller Camp 648 of Hot Springs, Arkansas, at the 2026 Gun Show with Arkansas Division Commander Skip Barnard. Want to thank them. Gun shows are generally a pretty good place to recruit. And I hope you visit them. I hope y'all had a good show. And it's not always about how many members that you get. It's getting your name out to the public. And if people looking at that, I'm sure you can see some familiar faces. I believe I see Lloyd Mock in there. Thank you for that. Okay, now we're going to move on to here. Okay. And this is, like I said, having to do this with one person that works a little bit different. The Kentucky Division has a billboard up in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And this will run for 4 weeks and start on June 1st. Kyle, I hope you're still in there. If you can, I know you said it's in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. If you will, kind of give us a little bit more detail on that, I'll pop it up in the comments and let everybody know exactly where that is so they can go and they can see it there. Okay, we'll continue on with a little bit more business. And here we are, the 160th Confederate Memorial Day service, Stonewall Cemetery in Winchester, Virginia. That I have not been to this cemetery, and I'm going to say that's completely and totally on my fault. I have been in Winchester, Virginia, went through Winchester. I did not stop at this cemetery, and the 160th Confederate Memorial Day. That is awesome. And here is another picture of that event. It looks like it's a pretty good turnout. Like to know a little bit more about that Stonewall Cemetery. If anybody knows a little bit more about that, pop it in the comments and we'll talk about that. Okay, and now we'll continue on with some more news. Let's see. Like I said, we have to, doing this all by yourself, the Tennessee Division, Sons of Confederate Veterans, hosted their Tennessee Division reunion back in April. And they erected, and it was held at the Longstreet Museum, and they erected this monument there. And it is if you get a chance, go visit the Longstreet Museum. It's in Morristown, Tennessee, and see that. So they take them down, we put them up, and sometimes we just put them up because it's the right thing to do. And there's a group picture of everybody that was involved with that. There's a lot of the local camp members. That's the Bradford Rose Camp that hosted the event. And they're the ones that raised the money and erected the monument. And when we started having problems giving away the Hundley, the Tennessee Division created the William Hicks Jackson Agricultural Award. And this is it being presented by Jordy Barnett, who is the camp commander, and you can see him giving the William Hicks Jackson Agricultural Award. We thought that we might try to find a different route to get into the school system when they stopped doing the Hundley, and this has proven to be a very successful way to do that. Okay, got one more piece of business. Now this is shameless self-promotion, and this is about my camp. My camp, Sam Watkins Camp number 29, we turned 40 years old. We were rechartered in May of 1986. And the Big Grave Monument, that is sitting, it's a memorial. Big Grave Memorial is sitting on the square there in Mount Pleasant. That is the current square. During the war, the square was a block south of there. This is where the Big Grave men stood in, and you can hear them still knocking. This is where the men were sworn into office, took into Confederate service, and they left from here and went and got on the train. And you can see our executive director, Adam Southern, is right there. He was one of our speakers. Tennessee Division Commander John Blankenship was the keynote speaker. Adam gave a talk on the history of the Big Grave Memorial. John was just giving just a great talk on the Southland, being a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And if you look in the distance, the gentleman in the white shirt, that is Sam Watkins Camp Commander Will Pogue. And this is the final picture that I have. This is there's a bunch of members of the camp that are gathered there at the memorial. You see the gentleman in the very center, the one that's holding the long picture, that is Robert Bain. Robert Bain was a original when it was rechartered. He was an original recharter. So he's been with the camp for 40 years. And that is the original copy of our rechartering, and his name is on there. Another gentleman, he's the third from the left. He was another recharter member. And then you see Adam there on the right. Adam's holding a picture of when the monument was originally dedicated, September 27th of 1907. That was a picture that was done then. Okay. So it can be done, and we can get out there and we can do these things, folks. Okay, I see that we've had a few more comments that have come in. Let's see. Okay, we have Rick Dorley that has come in. Rick, thank you. Give us a little bit more information. Where are you a member and where are you out of? Oh, and then we have Chuck Hand, hail on from Bourne, Texas. And I did not pronounce that right. First Lieutenant Exit Page, camp number 2351. It looks like Bourne, but that's not how that is pronounced. I found out how to pronounce it, but it slips my mind right now. Chuck Hand has written a book, and he has done me the great honor of attempting to provide a voice for it. And I'm working on that. I've done some reading on it. He wants to turn it into an audio book. He's asked me if I would read for it, so I'm going to read for it and see how it goes. I can understand if he doesn't want to use my voice, because it's not the most pleasant one out there. A lot of people go with Forrest Dawes because he has that wonderful voice that he does. But Chuck Hand has done me a wonderful honor of asking me to do that. And Jason Lloyd, Sam Davis Home was an excellent tour. Won't be able to make it to National. I will be standing where my ancestors fought in 2nd and 5th Virginia Infantry of the Stonewall Brigade on the plains of Manassas that weekend, doing living history, portraying the 4th Virginia Infantry. So, yes, sir, you're keeping history alive, Jason, and I thank you for that. Let's see. And that's also the 165th anniversary that weekend. Okay. Our banner is still on I-30 in Benton. Thank you, Floyd Harvey. Thank you for telling us. You can still see their banner on I-30 in Benton. David Pope, thank you for telling me that. David, I assume you're referring to Stonewall Cemetery. That's a beautiful cemetery. Okay. And there's the website for the Stonewall Cemetery. Leave that up there for just a moment in case anybody wants to take a screenshot of it or pull your camera up and take a picture, as some often do. Leave that up for a few more moments. I want to thank everybody that has come on to watch this. We're not going to be on very much longer. Turner Ashby and George Patton ancestors are buried there. That's good. Stonewall Cemetery. Might need to look them up when we get there. And Robert Galen Bernard, Arkansas Division Commander, invites you to our Arkansas, Texas Cemetery in Doddridge, Arkansas, 22nd of August at 11 a.m., air-conditioned building, Texas flag raising. So if you get a chance, go and support the Arkansas Division. Okay. Jason Lloyd, there's a Tennessee section at Stonewall Cemetery, mostly 1st, 7th, and 14th Tennessee Infantry Archers Brigade that are buried there. Thank you for that bit of information. Thank you very much for that, Jason. We all hope that is not the fire department trying to get your attention. You've heard them knocking on a few times. They knocked on the door where I do this from. The windows right there, so probably heard me talking and not been knocking on the window a couple of times. And let's hope it's not the fire department. I haven't heard anything. Yes, Al, are you referring to the Big Gray Monument, Big Gray Memorial? Yes, it is. It was originally money was raised. As you know, it took the United Daughters of the Confederacy a long time to raise money for these. And it took them several years to raise the money for it. And then it was dedicated September 27th, 1907. All of downtown Mount Pleasant was rebuilt. And there was some talk when it was starting to go, they're going to take the monument down. And they made it very clear the monument's not coming down. It looks very nice all the way around it. The Sam Watkins camp, we did a 100th rededication of it in 2007, and we had it cleaned and polished right before then. And we're looking at doing it again. We're going to be in contact with the city about that. And David Pope, yes, the cemetery is in Winchester. Okay, yes. I'm going to have to pay attention to the Stonewall Cemetery. That is for sure. Before we get out of here, wanted to go ahead and talk about some of the other shows that we have. Let me pop up a banner here. Let's see. And I'm going to go and pop this up here about the 131st. You can register today at 131scv.org. We'll talk about the shows. Let's begin on Sunday, first day of the week. We have Hardy on History, which is at Michael C. Hardy, and that starts at 7:30 Central Time. And I tell you, Michael Hardy does a fantastic job. It is a great show, and I've gotten used to watching it. Monday night is the flagship show of SCV Chat. That is at 7 p.m. Central Time as well. On Tuesday night, we have Tennessee Tuesday, which is at 7 p.m. You'll see myself and John Blankenship on it. Wednesday night, you have Look Around Florida with the Florida man, Sean McFall. I watched the rerun of that last night when I got back from church, and he gave a pretty good recount of the Florida Division reunion, and he's going to go into more detail next Wednesday. So if you get a chance, drop in to Look Around Florida. Thursday night, The first Thursday night of the month is Commander's Comments. That starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. The other Thursday nights, you have this show here, which is Look Around the Confederation. And on Friday night, you've seen David Pope on here. He does Friends of Douglas South Hall Freeman, and that is at 7 p.m. Central Time as well. All of these shows are at 7 p.m. Central Time, except for Michael C. Hardy, and he's at 7:30 Central Time. I want to thank everybody for coming on board and watching the show. I see that we've had a few more comments that have popped back up. Let's see if we can scroll down to them. Well, Commander Kennedy, I thank you. I'll see you in Lexington. Actually, I'm going to see you next weekend at the Forest Boyhood Home. Jason Lloyd, that beautiful Confederate Memorial in Franklin, seen it back in 2021, visiting Battle of Franklin sites. Yes, that's Chip. And the reason why Chip has his nickname is when they were putting him up, there was a little bit of an accident and a little chip come off of his hat. So he earned the nickname Chip. The one here in Mount Pleasant is just called the Man on the Monument. And Derek Glover, greetings from Jamestown. I see Derek Glover, you've been traveling the globe out there. And Steve Milam, you are very correct. Michael C. Hardy is fantastic. And David Pope has chimed in. Tomorrow night, the Faith of Thomas Jackson, 8 p.m. Stonewall Jackson time, in the Friends of the Douglas South Hall Freeman group. I told my preacher this last night because there was a part where we were talking, and it was talking about when the good Lord come down and he sent the angels down to get Lazarus and raise Lazarus up. And I got to thinking about something that Randolph H. McKim wrote about in his book, Leaves of a Confederate Soldier. In it, he was talking about after Chancellorsville, Stonewall was wounded, and much of the men were standing around. They knew that Jackson was going to pass. Jackson passed. And one of the men under Jackson spoke up and said, well, I know exactly what happened. The moment old Jack is what he called him. The moment old Jack passed, our Heavenly Father sent the angels down to get Stonewall. But when they got down there, they couldn't find him. They couldn't find him on the field of battle. They couldn't find him in the hospital bed. They couldn't find him in the tent. They couldn't find him anywhere. So they saw they were going to have to ascend back to heaven and report that they couldn't find Thomas Jonathan Jackson. But when they arrived back in heaven, there's old Stonewall in the grasp of our Heavenly Father. Old Stonewall, old Jack, had outflanked the angels and beat them back to heaven. So when I think of the faith of Stonewall Jackson, I think about that little piece right there. Even his men knew that. Yes. Derek Glover just got back from Corbin, Kentucky. You be safe out there with all of that traveling. I want to thank everybody that has joined us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and scroll our Patreon members across here, thanking everybody for joining us tonight. I want to thank everybody who has sponsored the show. Everybody be careful out there. It's a few minutes till 8 Central Time. Y'all be careful out there. Stay Southern.